There we go. It's 2:30 p.m. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and you are watching Innovation Fika with me, Donny, here live from Stockholm, Sweden, KTH. Live every Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Unibid as well, and Twitter, and today also on TikTok. So let's see if we get anybody on TikTok here as well today. Cool. They won't be seeing you, but they'll be seeing me. So we can. And hello to TikTok there as well. So hi everyone. My name is Donny. Every Wednesday afternoon, as you know, that you keep on watching the show. Every Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m., I go live with an Innovation Fika, which is my innovation coffee break, where I get to interview cool people about cool stuff and cool ideas. And just like Sami here, hey Sami, good to see you online. Make sure to say hi, introduce yourself in the comments where you are from, and we'll get you going in the talk as well. As I said, you follow me on LinkedIn. I post almost daily on innovation, inspiration, startups, entrepreneurship, and all of those posts also get collected and aggregated on my Medium page. So if you go to Medium and just find me there, Donny S. Ligones, you can see all of the previous posts. I think it's 456 or something now. And then all of these recordings from the Innovation Fika, they are then also put on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube channel and look for Innovation Fika there, you'll find 74 episodes. This is episode 75 with my dear friend and distinguished guest, Thomas, AI nerd Helfrich. Look at this. We have a guest in the studio and we say, hey there, Thomas Helfrich, welcome. Look at this.
Is it Monday?
It's... welcome. We have, yes, we've got lots of questions for you. It's cool.
This AV thing is
sorry.
Difficult. I was having some technical issue that would not allow me to join. I had to restart. So I apologize. How are you? I've been watching the show. It's been great.
I'm great. I'm fine. This is fun. This is good. This is good. We're getting tons of questions here. AI generated videos and developing video content and
I apologize. I really do. I mean, some days technicalities of having Google Meet, Zoom, StreamYard come together with one update on your Windows.
Hey, that's the way it is. But anyway, so we welcome Thomas, AI nerd, Helfrich. Is it Helfrich or Helfrich or what's
you know what? At this point, you can call me whatever you like.
At this point, with you being so late, I could call you really. I could no, I'm not just joking.
Call me. I just wanted to give you the floor. I feel like my top meeting skills are derailing any meeting, lowering the average IQ, and also talking too much. So I feel like if I gave you the first 15 minutes or so to kind of warm everybody up, it would be better for everybody.
But that's what we'll do here today. So then we're starting the show here with Thomas, AI nerd Helfrich, and I will actually put it here. Look at this, instantly-relevant.com, right?
It's a good address. That's right. That Instantly Relevant did not sponsor this. If they did, then you could talk about how awesome they are about helping founders do marketing. But they didn't sponsor it.
Just give us a quick rundown. What is who is Thomas Helfrich and what is Instantly Relevant? Instantly Relevant.
Well, so hey, thank you, Donny. By the way, it's always fun to talk with you and meet with you. And I've been kind of a technologist whole life. A few years ago, started a company called Instantly Relevant, and we really focus on just creating marketing specific for founders and entrepreneurs in growth mode. And what that means, probably relevant to, let's say, just traditional marketing, is we really focus on what matters, which is creating a whole bunch of content, and that content can be written, video, audio, all that stuff. We make sure we have social media management in place, and then driving engagement on that content organically. That's really important for founders specifically because you don't typically want to jump right into ads. You don't want to jump into a bunch of stuff that is really expensive. So we create this pool of 13 roles or so in marketing that you need to really be successful, and you just need them when you need them. And so you get access to about 13 different kinds of roles of marketing at any given point as a service. Because I found as a founder myself that I needed 1 week a pitch deck made, the next week posts made, and I always needed engaged on. I needed articles and I needed video edited, and I just you can't hire for that. You can't go grab people off of Fiverr and Upwork. So we provide that as a service because I needed it, and so that's what it is. So it helps you be relevant quicker. I can hang up now. It was great seeing you, Donnie. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks everyone. Goodbye. Thanks for the goodbye, and thanks for all the fish.
It's great.
Yeah, but let's jump straight into here. We actually had a question here from Sammy here. Say for text, because we were talking about creating messages and things like that. Any advice on developing video content? Which platforms are available? And with that, he means AI generated videos, like the way we have text generation.
That's great. I wouldn't say AI is the way to go. I think there's a combination of technologies you use. So what I mean is, yes, you could get AI videos generated, and I don't know specific platforms. Probably I wouldn't generally just endorse any one over the other. I would say that the mindset of leverage technology to create videos. So what I mean by that is find out what's trending from search or whatever else, or from other. There's a number of tools that you could look what's going great on Shorts versus TikTok versus something else. You leverage technologies like Otter or something like this, or Fireflies that translates text, video, audio to text, so you can put captions on it, and then leverage other stuff that just gives you relevant, maybe B-roll footage or some types of things, and put your videos together. But those are like, I would say, if you're going for brand though, those are great for just getting views and maybe communicating messages. It's not going to do probably a whole lot for your brand though. If you're really trying to grow a presence or trying to grow a product or service or a company, you're going to probably have to still kind of keep I call it like hands on plow, right? You're still going to have to get in there and work through it and really own your video that you're creating and be a part of it. So it's probably not the best use case for growing. It's probably good for just views and general, what do you call it? Presence, if you will, to have these AI ones, as long as you can keep them on.
But I think that's a really good. I mean, let's just, you said something that I want to pick up on, which I thought was really, really good as well, is, you don't have to cross every single bridge after water, because, you said, do a search and see what's trending. I mean, what is actually going on out there, and at least try and sort of stick to, I mean, that's a very sort of easy fix of, we're starting out, I don't even know where to start, but then, see what's going on out there and see if there's anything you can pick up on, and then add your flavor to it, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well. It's in your space. So it's not like, hey, the kittens that are jumping into pools and then being rescued, but you're like, but I sell SaaS products. Like, so what? Like, so if there's a kitty that needs a SaaS tool, the point is search for things that are trending in your topics, your hashtags, and just be comfortable that you're not probably going to be, a million viewed thing. But if you get a few hundred views from people who care about that, that's pretty important. Yeah, I always say vanity is kind of the insanity side of it, right? So just to get views and likes and follows, well, you can do that all day long and not get a lead out of it or business or do anything. So it's more important to be relevant to your topic, to your business and what your personal beliefs or whatever it is. Way more important than views and followers and all the other things.
And that leads to the next question here from Sammy again. Also keen on ideas on improving engagement, and that's what we're talking about here. Because instead of, I mean, as you said, I mean, likes and followers, I mean, that's not business. It's just likes and followers. So when you're talking about engagement, and you're talking about becoming relevant for your specific target group in your specific whatever channel or wherever you are.
Well, I mean, first of all, Sam, you owe $20 per question after your first one. It's expensive. I'm sorry. We're going to have to charge you for that over consulting. No, this is a great question. So improving engagement. So you have to be relevant. It'll come back to this person. What I mean, this persona of people you want to interact with, you have to be relevant to those people that you're trying to influence or build trust with. And to get better engagement, it takes preparation, and you have to understand that it's the content has to have meaning that's not salesy. Now, there's times to be we do this, we do that. But most of the time, if you just give content, you give context, and you give some kind of advice, you'll get better engagement. But there's the fundamental rules. Get 50 comments in the first kind of hour or two is great, but they have to be real. They can't be the engagement groups that say, nice post, way to go. Those don't really work. So making sure that the people kind of that would care about it are aware of the post, and you're engaging on their things as well. And it's kind of grinding. I also noticed, by the way, just from the engagement side, I think some of the algorithms of how LinkedIn and other social media platforms have changed, where the content doesn't have as long a shelf life, I think, as it used to. And so you kind of got to be in the moment and make sure that you're putting things out there often that are relevant for your audience. And it can't be the same stuff too. It's got to kind of blend and move and shake. But it's hard. It's hard work. And if you're just starting out, I would say do it yourself till you get a feel of it. But at some point, you're going to need to scale it, and you're going to need some help, because it becomes a full-time job.
But I mean, I think that so for any person starting out with any kind of business, it's a lot about getting your hands dirty and getting to know the ins and outs of your own business. I mean, becoming street smart in your own domain, so to speak. You the eat the dog food kind of expression. Kind of,
drink your own champagne. I don't eat dog food.
Drink your own champagne is a lot better than eat your dog food. No, but it's getting to know your own product and service and the people who are using them, so you understand what's going on. Because I find a lot of times I see people that are kind of detached from what they're delivering, and they have this there's this detachment of, oh yeah, somebody's out here and they're sort of doing something with the product or service, and then I'm over here kind of speaking about my startup and I'm not sort of in it. And I think that is super important, and that comes back to what you were saying when it comes to digital as well. I mean, when you're starting out, I mean, just do the work yourself as well. Get to know the people you're actually interacting with, get to know what makes them tick. And you need to do that, the grind. It has to come, it has to do it.
The analogy I use is if I go to a gym, I hate doing legs and I hate doing sit-ups. But those are the two things I probably should do then. The thing you hate to do the most that you need to do is the thing you got to get comfortable doing. And you always got to keep a pulse on some of it. At some point you can kind of outsource or leverage a partner. Even when we work with companies, we don't want people who are just starting out. We want the funded founder, because they usually have a sense of what they want to do and they have a direction. If you're just by yourself, you kind of got to sort some of that stuff out. And if I backed up a year ago, we're now 2 years old in 6 days, right? If I backed up a year ago in the company, what we were offering and selling was perfectly made sense then. But now I'm like, no, that wouldn't have, it evolved. And if I hadn't been in the weeds with posts and understanding what the customers need and what really is going to take to market a founding company, we would be wrong in what we're offering. Probably wouldn't be around, because if you don't evolve. So if you jump too quickly to outsource all your content and do these things, you're probably going to lose the touch on it. It's going to fall flat, because you got to kind of be intimate with it until you've got it, and then you can go.
But I mean, I can give you a real life example. I mean, I tried that. I was like, yeah, sure, because I was contacted by one of these firms that is where the super social media people will do all of your stuff, right? So they contacted me, and then I said, yeah, sure, give it a go. And I was like, and then I did the mistake of I took a step away, and I and then it took me like 2 days, and I was going, hang on a minute, this isn't this isn't me, that's something else. And then we're going, yeah, but we're doing our thing. And I'd made the mistake of taking a step away and detaching myself from that without being part of it. And so I think that is super, super, super important part of,
So anything we do with customers and myself is, it starts with a goal. So don't write a piece of content, don't create a video, don't write a post until you have a goal for it. Yeah. And I do recommend it tied to some type of business value proposition or customer value piece, and not for the purposes, I just want to get 1,000 views. If that's the case, just go take the most trending stuff and go repost it and do it. But you got to start with a business goal for sure. And I think one of the questions you put up about the chatbot, I think that's a good piece to put in here. That's another form of automation if you could use. I will tell you, I absolutely hate AI chatbots. I'm a nerd and love AI, but man, more cuss words are set with any IVR or any. I can't stand it. I love when there's another human on the place. They can be like, "Hey, here you go." I don't mind if it's introductory, but one question, two, but once you get to 3, I'm throwing things at the screen, right? I'm terrible. So I think it's not that important, quite honestly, for your engagement. I think it actually will, anything more likely, ruin your brand around it.
I'll pick up on that, and I'll nod and I'll say, very often I find it counterproductive with chatbots, because it just makes me annoyed. Because I mean, just like I cannot have an actual conversation with Siri or Google. I mean, I can't actually have a conversation. I have to learn machine speak to talk to them to make it work, right? And they can't. It's not like a human flow of conversation that we're having here. And I get to a site, and she goes, "Oh, I'm the chatbot. Ask me anything." And I go, "Cool. I need to do this and this and that." And then I'm going there. What do you think about that? I don't know. What do you think? And it goes, "I didn't understand your question. Do you want me to connect you to a human?" Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Because
pound 0.00000. You can date yourself, by the way, if you look at a phone and you say pound.
And then I think before we're taking Sammy's question, I think the worst example is when you get to the phone bot, and it's like it asks you 10 questions to sort of do this, press 1, and then for this, press 2, and then after 10 questions, it says, "Oh, Our opening hours are between 9 and 10. Please phone back on any business day between 9 and 10. Goodbye. And then it hangs up on you after like 15 minutes of getting through the... Anyway, influencer marketing. At what stage would you advise a founder to engage an influencer?
And that's a great question. I love that question because it's not like that it's new, but it's probably new to LinkedIn from the business sense. And, I think like any new business, there's some, I'm part of the influencer programs with those, and I don't do it as much anymore because I find that, you have to find the right influencer with the right actual audience for your brand. Otherwise you're just kind of wasting money, I think, a little bit, but I think it's incredibly important. And I think you have to have the right just alignment of what the person's brand is itself versus, hey, I have millions of followers, I'll do a post for you. But if it's to people who don't really care, but if somebody has 10,000 followers or 30,000, let's say, and they're really around your space, probably a good use of money for the right piece. But I'm a supporter of influencer marketing for sure, but I think you just got to leverage it very kind of tactically with that goal in mind. And you have to, honestly, beyond just views and likes.
But isn't that what you're saying? Isn't that the same thing that you're saying? I mean, we're saying it again that, yeah, sure, go ahead, use it, but make sure that you know what you're using it for. I mean, what do you want to achieve with it? I mean, just by saying, oh, we need an influencer. For what? To do what? To achieve what? Where? I think that's the really important part of it as well. I remember, I don't know if anybody on the call nobody's on the call that is as old as I am. But back in the days, like it was late 90s, early 2000s, there was a commercial about internet with IBM, and there was these two guys in like white shirts, and one guy was saying, "Boss, we need to be on the internet," and the other one goes, "Why?" And the first one goes, "I have no idea, but we need to be there," kind of thing, which was a funny thing then. We have to be on the internet. But coming back to this, I think it's super important. Whatever you use, whichever channel, whatever content thing you're doing or whatever you are, but just as long as you know why you are doing it and what you hope to achieve with it. Otherwise, as you said before, it's just, I mean, you can generate likes and followers, and then what? I mean, what are you trying?
Exactly. That being said, for $1,000, I'll do a post for you at any point. Okay. The raw economics here. I'll happily post about kittens jumping in the pool.
Exactly. But yeah, that's great. I mean,
but it leads to my thing. Don't overpay, right? You use it correctly. It is just a post that has a shelf life of about 24 hours, right? If someone's going to put a sticker up, for a weekly show, and that, if you're in the innovation space and you want to sponsor the show and that might make sense. It has to make sense from a relative, like, could you pay a setter to buy leads for you or place people for you? Would that be a better use of your money? And I think it's okay to leverage. You just leverage it correctly and don't do it to chase just followers and views. So I think
I think one of my again, hard learned tip I'd say as well is if you're going to do any kind of influencer marketing, right? And as you said, you find this person that says, for $50 or $100 or $1,000, I will either mention you or I'll post you, or whatever they will do with you. Always start by looking at, okay, who follows them, what's going on in their channels, what happens when they post stuff, what things are going on, so you know what to expect when they do post your thing. Because many times it sounds really good, but when you actually look at, because I've been on that channel as well, so no offense in general, but there are a number of like influencers that post stuff for payment, and they only do that. And very, very quickly you can see that it's like just treading water. Nothing really happens. It's just another, and then you look at who is actually reading this to do what. Is this the right channel? Is this, as you said, are these the right people for me to be relevant with? So it's look at who is actually.
In each platform is different. I think that's a really good point. So influencing on LinkedIn, you'll have a different effect. So just from a pure example, right? You could post a video on a YouTube short and the exact same video on Instagram, exact same one on TikTok, same one on LinkedIn, and they will all perform completely differently. And I know this because we did this with a video that we got over 2 million views on TikTok, and it got 150 on Instagram Reels on the same base of people. And then it got like 50 on YouTube. And you'll do another video, might get 600 on YouTube, and it gets like 20 on the others. And it's incredible how the different platforms and how people interact with what they expect.
Wow.
So from an influencer standpoint, yeah, sure. On Instagram, we have those kind of products where someone's kind of known there. They got a lot of followers, and they, people really like what they have to say. That might be a better use than on LinkedIn, where people are kind of there to read and go about business. And they're like, yeah, I don't really care. That same thing may do great on another platform. And understand you're going to have to experiment based on your products and services, where it's going to work. I mean, some are going to be obvious. So there's a lot of business services, especially if you're selling like, I'd say like, true services for business, like consulting or something else, probably not going to be a great pick for Instagram, right? But really for business, it might.
Let's talk about the experimenting part. I mean, let's explain about that. What do you mean by experiment? When you say that, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, so it's important to understand that when you create a video that you expect something out of it, like, so key to life, set your expectations very low. Just because you think it's the greatest video ever, and it might be, on certain platforms will have no chance of performing because that content's just not wanted on that platform, and it might be whatever it is. And what I mean by experimentation is try different formats, different, you talking, doing, maybe B-roll with some just caption underneath it, just do images, memes, play with your content sets to see what performs best on what platform, and then stick with the ones that seem to do a little bit better on the different social media platforms that communicate the same information. From any experiment, try to reduce how many variables you change when you do it. So, some things work better on LinkedIn than others, right? So what I mean by that is, by experimentation, is try different things and then just watch what works differently better, and then go with those things generally in that direction. And I'm definitely generalizing a bit because, we experiment all the time. So we have a better sense of what to do and how to go do it. But if you're going to go do it yourself, take the moment to try, because you might discover something that works really well, and you might find a new channel to organically grow that you didn't expect. And so that's what I mean.
I think you were a good example of that as well, because you just said as well, because you look, I mean, 1 year ago, you were doing things that were relevant then, and you've evolved since then. And now you're doing things that are relevant now. And next year you'll be not a different company, but you'll be a slightly different, as in evolving with, what's going on. So, I mean, I think that's it makes all the sense in the world completely.
I mean, and people, well, there's two parts to that, right? So there's what's working better than worse, but there's also what's actually needed by your current market. So we targeted more individuals to help them with content creation month to month, and we've really shifted to more startups and specifically the founders who lead those startups to help them grow their companies. And when we did that, their content needs are completely different than an individual's. Like, it's a different level. It's another level of engagement, different kind of content types. There's pitch decks involved now. There's all kinds of sales collateral. So the presumptions of how we would create that didn't exist a year because we didn't serve that audience. So as your market changes, you'll have to change what your services are to supply it. And that's how we evolved.
Yeah. Cool. And for everyone still listening, we are watching episode 75 of Innovation Fika with Thomas Helfrich. And of course, as all of our guests always do, they leave us with top 3 tips. And today we're talking about marketing for founders, and something that Thomas is specifically focused on. And Olympic gold medal in that sport last year and this year as well, heading into that. So without further ado, Thomas Helfrich, top 3 tips for marketing for founders. Tip number 1, avoid the we trap.
But I'm so glad you have these. I was like, oh, what were the 3 I was going to up there? Because I have a lot. But the we trap is, not the we all over people. We do this, we do that. We. Some people like to get weed on. It's a very small percentage of the population, though. And I would say that most people would like to be informed that you can do this. Here's something you learned. Give away, but don't always just throw up on people all the time. There's a place for it, and you should do it once in a while and say, we do this, but don't do it all the time.
Very good. Tip number 2, leverage profiles of key individuals.
Ooh, this is a good one. A lot of founders in particular are technical, or they are what they were. They were something, and they have to get used to being now the CEO and founder, and that's sometimes a very hard transition. So leverage the key individuals of your organization, including the founder, maybe co-founders, or people who lead sales, to leverage their personal profiles to communicate information, build thought leadership. Don't forget the individuals are what people buy from, even in an account level, which is a lot of individuals. So raise the persona, the thought leadership, the executive eminence, if you will, of key individuals in your organization, and you'll see your business get, I think, a little bit more organic growth from it.
again, that's so good to remember that everybody in your organization is also a face for the organization and is a carrier of your brand and your message. I think that is, and that goes for like everybody. It has to be, and then leveraging the. Very good. Thank you very much.
I'm here all week. Just leave.
$1,000, no problem at all. Tip number 3 is take calculated risks with content.
So, and I give this example, and this really has to do with tone and style. So, there's text, there's written, there's audio, there's video, but also, if you are a type of person who only shouts, only people who want to hear shouting will listen. So occasionally change your tone to a whisper, maybe add a lisp, anything you want. It doesn't matter. Change your tonality and how you present that and see what happens. Because if you do the same things over and over, it might be effective, but it'll get boring. And then the groups that are looking at it are going to lose interest because people need to see different versions of that. So you have to mix up your content, take a calculated risk, meaning like don't go too far off the ranch there, but just go to the edge of it a little bit and jump on the neighbor's property for a minute and see what happens. So the point is, take some risk, try different things, and just see how it performs.
But I think that comes back to the whole experimenting thing as well. To try and becoming street smart in your own domain, learning what works, and figuring out who you're actually talking to is super important.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's a grind, right? So you should leverage people when you can no longer scale. But it's better to go find 10 new people to connect with sincerely a week. If you can do it daily, that's great. That's a lot of work. Find 10 that actually might care. 5 may connect with you, and 2 may actually need what your services are at some point. 1 might need it now, right? And if you kind of repeat that as often as you can, and help them connect with the people they need to meet, that's a big step. Is make sure you're helping them be successful too, and then they're more likely to help you because you help them too. And so don't always have to be selling, but you should always be helping.
But it makes all the sense. Well, I mean, the grind is super important. Sami, thank you, Sami, for tuning in. Yeah. No, but I will say, I mean, there was this huge survey. There was a research thing in the US, and they interviewed 10,000 salespeople to see what is it that makes a good salesperson. I mean, is it what do they have a skill set, or is it a personality thing, or what is it that actually makes it work? And it was one determining factor, one thing that made the top salespeople stand out toward, against everybody else. And it was the number of sales calls they made per day and actually spoke to people. That was, the grind. If you find 10 people a day that you can talk to and that will follow you, that's a lot of work. But let's say that's like in a week or 4 weeks, a month, half month, then we're building.
Well, exactly. And part of it is just to leave with this, if you're a high ticket type of thing, you probably don't need 10 a week, because there's going to be less people. If you're a middle service type of cost, or you're a product that then you probably need maybe 10 a week, maybe 5 a day or something like that. The truth is, if you're a high volume thing, you're gonna have to figure out the ads game. You're gonna have to touch a lot of people. You're gonna have to be able to learn how to do that and measure it. But you got to just get the right numbers right. And I think the number of calls you do make, but you got to have the energy and the focus and make sure you're also not like, you could talk to the 100 right people, but if you lead with cuss words and you say, I don't want to talk to you, you're going to fail every time. So you got to make sure you have the right energy and ability to communicate in those meetings so they don't come across, or you don't get bitter or whatever else. There's a balance, I think, of
course,
volume versus quality that you need to do.
But we work with between 350 and 400 ideas per year here at KDH Innovation, as in new projects. But we have maybe like 2,000 meetings, with people. And then it becomes an idea when they come back and say, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to really, that's when it becomes an idea. But prior to that, we have lots of conversation with people about ideas, but that's not an idea in our key metrics. So coming back to the sales call, what is successful sales call, as in leads to next step kind of thing. So I completely agree, 100%, hands down. Thomas Helfrich, AI nerd, thank you so much for jumping on the show.
I jumped into the deep end after you established there was a pool with water. But
really good seeing you again, sir. I always enjoy spending time with you. Thank you so much. I will see you online soon again. And thank you everyone for listening and watching. And see you next week again. Innovation Fika, 2:30 p.m. live from Stockholm. You know the place, you know the time. And for now, take care. Love you all.